All right, welcome. If you've ever watched a pro and just wondered how their swing looks so easy, so effortless, but the ball just explodes off the club face, well, the secret isn't just raw strength. It's physics. So let's dive in and really break down the biomechanics that make all the difference.
Okay, so here's a kind of weird question for you. What on earth does a grandfather clock have to do with a golf swing? It sounds totally random, I know, but trust me, the answer to this is the secret to unlocking some serious, consistent power.
And here it is, the double pendulum. I want you to start thinking about your swing this way. It's not one big, stiff lever. No, it's two pendulums working together. The first one, that's your arms swinging from your shoulders, and the second, smaller one, that's the club hinging at your wrists. The absolute magic happens when you get these two things flowing in perfect harmony.
But look, before we even think about swinging, we've got to build the platform for it. A really powerful, repeatable swing, it always starts from the ground up. You need a foundation that's both super stable and ready to move.
So the goal here is to create a really solid athletic center of gravity. You want to bend from your hips, okay? Not your waist. That's what preloads those big, powerful muscles in your glutes. Keep that spine nice and straight so you can rotate properly. And of course, balances everything. Get that weight spread evenly. This isn't some stiff, static pose. This is a ready position. You're ready to be dynamic.
All right, let's talk about the backswing. I want you to get the idea of lifting the club completely out of your head. Instead, I want you to think about this part of the swing as coiling a giant, powerful spring. We're just storing up potential energy that we're going to unleash in a big way.
And that coiling action, it happens in a very, very specific order. It all starts with the hands and the club moving away as one piece. Then the arms follow, then the shoulders turn, and finally the hips rotate. You see? It's a sequence that builds on itself, creating this really tight, powerful coil away from the ball.
Now let's talk about tempo for a second. The best swings on the planet, they pretty much all share this 3-to-1 ratio. What that means is the backswing takes 3 times longer than the downswing. Rushing that takeaway is one of the biggest power killers out there because you just never give that spring a chance to fully, properly coil. And right here, this is where that second little pendulum really starts to do its job. As you take the club back, your wrists are going to hinge or cock. This little move is absolutely critical. It's like shifting into another gear. That hinge builds up a ton of torque, storing energy that's going to get released at the very last second.
Okay, so we've coiled the spring, we've set the hinge, now it's time to let it all go. But this release, it's not some wild, chaotic explosion. It's a perfectly timed chain reaction.
Now this might be the single most misunderstood part of the entire golf swing. So many golfers I see try to start the downswing by yanking down with their arms and their hands. But guess what? All the real power, it comes from the ground up. The very first move down is an unwinding of your hips.
This sequence of movement right here, this is the secret sauce. It's what we call the kinematic sequence. The different parts of your body fire off in a very specific order. Each one speeds up and then slows down, passing its energy to the next link in the chain. It starts with your pelvis, then your torso, then your lead arm, and finally, only at the very end, does the club come whipping through.
So when you hear coaches talking about the kinetic chain, this is exactly what they mean. You're literally using the ground to create force, and that energy transfers up through your legs, into your core, out through your arms, and then finally it gets multiplied into the club head. It's just a beautiful cascade of energy.
We're at the moment of truth now. Impact. A powerful release isn't about actively trying to hit the ball hard. It's about letting physics take over and just kind of getting out of the way.
And this illustrates the difference perfectly. On the left, you've got what most people do. They try to force the club into the ball with their hands. It feels powerful, but it's actually really weak and super inconsistent. But on the right, that's the goal. A release where your body's rotation just naturally lets that stored wrist angle unhinge all on its own.
So that stored angle, it has a name. It's called lag. And lag is the key to getting that incredible whip effect through the bowl. By holding on to that angle for as long as you can in the downswing, you let the club head accelerate like crazy right before impact. That's where the massive speed comes from.
So what does a great release actually look like at impact? Well, your hands have won the race to the ball. Your weight is planted firmly on your front foot, and that club face is perfectly square to your target. But remember, this position isn't something you try to force. It's just the natural result of getting the sequence right.
And finally, the follow-through. Look, a balanced finish isn't just for showing off for the camera. It's the ultimate proof. It tells you that your energy transfer was efficient and your sequence was spot on. And here's the key thing to remember. Don't try to hold a finished position. A good finish is an outcome, not a goal in itself. If you do the kinematic sequence the right way, your body is going to naturally end up in this beautiful, balanced state. If you're falling all over the place, that's a dead giveaway that something went wrong earlier in the chain.
So here's a quick little checklist to see if you nailed it. Your chest should be pointing at the target. All your weight is on that lead foot. You should be balanced enough to lift up your back foot, and the club has just fully released and wrapped around your body. When you find yourself here, you know all that energy went exactly where it was supposed to, straight into the golf ball.
So understanding the double pendulum, the coil, the kinematic sequence, that's the first step, right? But the real challenge is taking that knowledge and turning it into muscle memory. The physics are proven. They work. The only question left is, are you ready to put in the reps?